saw exactly the recipe. We could have kept playing that way. We scored 61 points in the first half, shooting 5 of 25 on threes. So it was like, we're not shooting well, but we're still playing well. We keep this up, we would have scored 125 points. It wouldn't have been a game. We stopped, and like I said, it was almost like we got into a battle of ourselves of like proving to our this is the wake-up call they needed. Like you said, Maz is in there showing them all the film, showing them everywhere that it went wrong, and
not a burn the tape. Yeah, this isn't a burn the tape game.
No,
this is like that meme with the guy holding the lady's eyes open. Like you're gonna watch this fucking second.
Every single trip, we were doing it in the first half. It was non-stop seal hunting, and it was just like we got bored of it. We honestly got bored of it. It was going too well. I think we just wanted to hit cool daggers and like almost embarrass them, and just lost our discipline.
Which I totally understand.
To a certain point, but you gotta
out of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to know when to pull out of that.
Screws loose, they done stripped the bolts on them. Should've never sent them to pick up the work for me. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart Boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all goners.
All right.
He was gonna Sean John him.
Greetings, Chudwings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner. It is Monday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Celtics game 1 against the Knicks, and they go out and lose 108-105 in overtime. Absolutely dreadful second half. Chuddy, I'll go ahead first and I'll ask you, how are you doing? I'm a little curious because you usually have a positive spin. I would love to hear if there is one here, but how are you feeling just emotionally? We'll get into that later.
We can get to a positive spin later, but not feeling good. Just a mess. Tough to watch, honestly. Really tough to watch. Really disappointing. Not sure what else you could say after that. Gross.
All right, so we are mad. I like that. All right, I don't really know. There's so much to begin with here. So I'm pissed off at Porzingis. Illness? What? Can't do illness. Just can't do an illness. But let's talk about the players that were on the court. I mean, the Celtics, they missed, I think, at least 45 threes. The record was 40 before. So they missed 45. They missed 45 threes tonight. You and I all year have been saying we're fine with the number of threes they shoot. The number of shitty threes they shot tonight was just a bridge too far, just too much to bear. These weren't good looks for the most part. They were getting exactly the matchup you would want. You get Tatum getting a switch on to Karl Anthony Towns, and he's just pulling up from three, not even with that much separation anyway. I think I saw 19 of their 20 shots in the third quarter were 3-pointers. Again, we have never had an issue necessarily with the volume of threes. The volume of awful, shitty threes was so bad. So where do you put this collapse? The Celtics led by as much as 20. Where do you put most of the blame?
Honestly, most of the blame is just the way they stopped playing. I mean, all the stuff that they were doing in the first half was working so well. They were working hard to really do all of the same things we saw them do to the Knicks in the regular season, all the same things we talked about in the preview, all the many places across the court where we have advantages, where we can create mismatches. We were doing it. We were generating great offense. We were bludgeoning them inside. We were getting offensive rebounds. We were making the right plays. Really, everything was going. The 3-pointers just weren't falling, which is tough. But again, we're generating good looks. Those will fall. Wasn't overly concerning. And again, we had a 15-point lead with not shooting great because again, we were just playing really, really well. And then the second half, it was after that great defense and then the push out to Al for the dunk, which I guess was our only 2-point attempt in the entire quarter with about 6 minutes left. That put us up 20.
I was so fired up.
Yeah, things were good. And then after that, it was just completely stopped playing, and it was all off dribble 3-pointers. Credit the Knicks. They stepped their defense up for sure, but the Celtics just stopped being purposeful. And in the first half, didn't have a lot of assists. We were working hard to create the matchups. We were going at them, going inside and scoring. And again, our offense, we talk all the time, is predicated off drive and kick. Well, if you're not driving, there's no kicking, and then it's just stagnancy. It's stale. It's not like dribble and shoot, but that's what the offense started to look like. And then like I said, the number of threes I never care about, but you just watched and it was just dribble.
This
dribble,
was a high number, but yeah.
Well, right. But again, if they're good looks, I'll happily live with it. In the first half, I thought mostly the looks were fine. We just weren't shooting great. In the second half, at a certain point with about 6 minutes left, it was like we just absolutely fell in love with shooting the three. And it's just so brutal. And it's as soon as things start to go south. Then we get down by 7, and immediately it's back to driving. 2 quick drives. Each of the Jays get to the free throw line. Hard Tatum drive after that. They help kick out, get one of our few great looks, wide open corner 3, Derek White. And it's like, oh, okay. So to me, this is just all about the Celtics completely breaking down, forgetting what to do, and just the absolute insistence. It almost seemed like at a certain point, Tatum decided it was like tin cup. It was like a tin cup. He's like, I'm just fucking shooting this shot and making this play until I make it. And at some point, I'm going to hit this fucking dagger 3. And if one of those shots fell towards like the down the stretch of regulation, we're sitting here being like, great win, clutch shot. And I mean,
if ifs were fists, we'd all be fucking
yeah.
Like you have to get away. And again, it felt like it was weird. I had like the hat of like the angry old man about the threes, but like you said, it was just so bad. There was no purpose. Like it was, like you said, very like no purpose all in the offense in the second half. Everyone like, it's just crazy to think that we shot that many threes and made so few of them. But it's to your point, like it's mostly generated off easy drive, kick threes, and it's just this off dribble shit that just is so bad. And I don't understand how we're just watching them walk down a 20-point lead, and we just don't adjust. There was no we just didn't change. Obviously, things got tight. No Hauser, no Porzingis. Hauser left rolled his ankle too, so that's something we'll keep an eye out for too. But it's just. They disappeared. The Jays disappeared tonight. And, usually, these are our guys, go to the mattress for them and all that. But it was bad. Tatum had, in the fourth quarter, he had 2 points. Overtime, he had 2 points, 6 points in the third quarter. It felt like in the game, too, for the first quarter, Tatum had 13. Jalen had, nothing. Second quarter, Jalen had 13. Tatum had nothing. It felt like they were kind of having this back and forth in the chicken just came home to roost so bad in that second half. I don't even think the Knicks were doing anything that well. They were making threes when they were catching us in rotation, and we were letting them take open threes. You can't leave guys that open. And usually the Celtics don't. But fucking hey, that was just I couldn't believe it as it was happening. It was like a slow motion car, and you kept feeling like there was going to be that moment. And you had a few of them, like you said, you had the Derek White 3, like kind of like, all right, there it is.
Right.
I felt like there was a couple times when Karl-Anthony Towns had the 2 jab steps into the fadeaway 3 over Horford and airball, and I was like, maybe they just kind of see something like that to be like, all right, hold on, what the fuck? And it just never came. They just never. The run never came. The shots never came. We got absolutely gifted too. Brunson missing that shot at the buzzer to end the game. He had a beautiful look at the basket off the backboard and just was a little bit too hard and it bounced out. Not a shot that he misses very often. He had a turnover too, 2 possessions before that. Those are things that Brunson doesn't really do that frequently. So the Knicks were as much as they fought, it was there for the taking, and fucking we just could not do anything. It's so brutal.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the most pissed I've been in a long time watching the Celtics.
Yeah, it's obviously extremely frustrating to me. Still, it's way more about the offense. The defense, I mean. What did you give up? 108 in overtime, and I mean, shots.
I don't know if I just said anything to me. It's not like I did the defense, but
I just want to be clear because you're talking about some of the too many open shots for them when we're in rotation. But I think for the most part, you'll live with the way we played him. I thought we made Brunson work for everything. Let him obviously get a couple of threes at the end of the game, but for the most part, I thought the game plan was sound. I thought the shots that they were hitting were guys that I'll live with it. Anunoby had a great game, shot the lights out. He was pretty much consistently the whole game, and then it was Brunson finally got going at the end, took him home in crunch time. But really, it was Anunoby, it was McBride making a few big shots, and it was fucking Josh Hart on the offensive rebounds. That's really what started it too for them. It was the second chances that he was creating, and then it was contagious. And then the Celtics were just so insistent on not playing offense anymore, not running anything. And I think part of it, too obsessed with the 3, but I think it was more getting too obsessed with the mismatch, but then not doing anything with it. And again, we've seen so many times this year, it's Tatum making that move and blowing by Cat, but it was for whatever reason, they were just so determined to make the pull-up 3, which can Tatum hit that shot? Of course. We've seen him do it a million times, but that's there literally every single time, whenever you want it. The shot clock's running down, there's 3 seconds left, jab step, back up, hit that shot. Sure. But the main idea should be blow the fuck by him. Again, at very worst, make him maybe make another foul because that guy loves committing stupid fouls.
He had 3 fouls at the end of the first half. He had 4
2 seconds into the third.
And then he didn't get another foul until overtime.
Because they
And
weren't
it was
making him defend. They were so
exactly
content to just let him sit
it's
in the corner, and then when they were getting the mismatch, it was like they just wanted to do the pull-up. And I just don't understand it, where, again, it was like every time they finally decided to drive, they either scored, got a good look and missed it, but a look, that I'll happily live with, or got fouled. And it's like, I don't know why we're not doing this every single time. And again, I get it. You're up 20, they cut into a little bit, all right, whatever. But at a certain point, it's like, go back to running offense. And again, do that. Drive on them 2 times in a row. The third time, the 3 will open back up. You'll kick out. You'll get a good look. And that's when the Celtics offense will get humming. And there were so many times where it was like, we just need to steady the ship for 2 seconds. It felt like if we could just put together like 3 good possessions in a row, we'd be back to fine, and it would click. And we'd be like, oh, Jesus, like, what were we doing there for a minute?
20-point lead, they got it to like 12, then we built it back up again, and they got it down again. It's just
it's like a slow burn after a while.
It honestly, it felt like watching like it's like the Monstars. Like, what happened to we just stopped doing everything. What happened to like anything that we knew how to do? We just stopped it. Like you said, I'm not really thinking that it's like a Knicks defensive figured it out or anything like that. Like like you said, we had the matchups all the time, just didn't take advantage of any of them. Bizarre. No. What I don't know. I wanted the very final play too of overtime. Are we there? Should we talk about that? There's plenty more that we can probably rip on, but what the fuck was that? You might be about to defend the play. The play immediately just got the fucking ball out of his hand.
I thought, all right. So, the action in the play was, the execution was bad. I thought the play itself, I kind of liked the way he ran it, like that pass over the top. I thought he actually was like a decent setup. He should have just caught it, I think, and gone right up with it. But yeah, I don't know, super frustrating. At that point, it almost felt like the game was gone. It was like once we turned it off, we couldn't turn it back on. Because if we would have reset it overtime, but it was like you could tell first minute overtime. It's like, no, this game is just fucking lost. Honestly, by the end, I was almost like, it's like the Knicks kind of need to steal this game because at least hopefully like we won't be this stupid again.
Certainly we deserve to lose. Like I'm fucking furious about it, but like the Celtics did nothing to earn this game. This was like about as bad of a playoff performance that I can remember, at least in the second half. Like the first half again. Everything in the first half it wasn't
great. It was the last 15 minutes.
But even the first half, that 20-point lead we built, it's like we weren't even playing well. Like I was kind of
like we were playing well, we just weren't shooting well. In the first half, I feel like we were playing the right way.
You could probably swap out those.
At halftime, I remember saying like, I love the way we're playing, and we're shooting shitty on good shots. And I was like, if we were just shooting normal, we'd be up by 30 points. We were up like 16, and it felt like there was a lid on the basket. But at that point, I felt like we were playing really good, decisive offense, generating great looks, getting to the line, getting the looks we wanted. A lot of good looks just weren't falling. I was thinking like, keep this up, floodgates are going to open. We're going to blow this thing wide open. And it seemed like we were on our way to doing that. And obviously not.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a game. It just sucks because it's a game that, we were saying in our group text, I was like, I'm so pissed at Tatum. And it's like, this is going to give the people who hate him a lot to go off. And it's like, I think a lot of that's going to be for some of the wrong reasons, but I don't know what he was doing. It's just weird. Like, I don't know why he wasn't taking advantage of anything. It just seemed like guys were checked out. I hope they don't all have whatever the fuck illness Porzingis had. I had my notes early on in the game that Porzingis looked like he was just kind of dogging it.
Yeah.
Like he looked gassed. So, okay, so let's get the obvious thing out of the way first. Hopefully it's nothing serious because he had kind of a strange illness that he said like people didn't know what it was earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So let's hope like that there's nothing that's like scary going on. And if that's the case, then what the fuck, Porzingis? Like if there's nothing scary going on, which is what we all obviously hope for. Yeah. Jesus Christ, like you gotta, I don't know what the threshold is, but you gotta do something, be out there. I don't know. Like you said, he wasn't playing great, so it wasn't like. But I don't know. Especially when how's it right now? Do you think that we were gassed? It's funny. You talk all about the Knicks, like they get so much they play so many minutes, and it seemed like they were like a pig in shit. They played like what did they say that Mikal Bridges played like 47 minutes in this game or something like that. Probably more than that by the end of overtime.
Yeah.
I just don't. There's just so much shit that are just pissing me off in that game.
No, I don't think it was a case of fatigue. I don't think the lineup was really an issue.
It's just the offense. It's just what we started to do.
Yeah, right. I really just think it was what you're playing. And again, the Tatum thing, it was honestly like it got into his head because it seemed like he was just so determined. It was like he needed for his own health to be like, I'm going to keep shooting this stupid shot until it goes in. And it seemed like, again, he could get the step and blow by Towns or Brunson or whoever anytime that he wanted to. And
anytime.
that's what's just so frustrating. It was like we did not need the three. And it was like we started playing at a certain point, like we were down by 3 and there was 5 seconds left. It was like everything. We'd get an offensive rebound and just immediately force up a ridiculous 3. And it's like, what on earth are we doing? So just baffling, just totally baffling ball to see a team that's usually so poised kind of break down like that and seemingly just completely lose the plot. And again, kind of beat themselves. I think we do got to give some credit to the Knicks because they definitely stepped up their defense. They made it harder for us. And it was like we weren't down to rise to the challenge. It was like once they raised their level, it was like we were just like, oh, and we were just like, weren't up for it tonight. It was almost like we just
Celtics second half shot chart. I'm looking at it right now is so fucking repulsive.
Yeah. And again, like I said, we've seen them play where they're playing great and generating probably that exact same shot chart, and they make 40% of them, and we're like, that was the most amazing looks I've ever seen. But like the shot chart, I would love to see just how many of those were good looks, like how many of those were open catch and shoots, versus how many of those were off a dribble or just like contested.
Well,
forcing it up to
you can probably tell the ones that are green circles were probably the catch and shoots, and the fucking X's all in the same spots were probably just guys dribbling up and pulling up. That's what you can probably tell on this sheet here. I was wondering too. So they started doing the Hacker Mitchell earlier. Like I thought that was like kind of funny, but we kind of ran out of fouls. Like Cornette was out for a bit. Like he had some foul issues.
Yeah,
I was playing a lot of those minutes down the stretch.
Right.
In hindsight, do you think maybe that was like kind of tough? Because to me, it's just like if the idea is that we're going to slow down the Knicks' offense by doing that and kind of not let them get going, eventually you can't do that the whole game. So eventually they're going to get going. You just kind of gotta. I liked it at first, but looking back, I don't like it.
I don't know. I think the hindsight is tough because I think it actually was definitely very effective. And again, the problem really is the fact that Porzingis didn't play the second half. He had 0 fouls. Luke and Al had 5 of them. So like those are dispersed a little differently. Really no big deal.
If just got bad luck. Felt like shit. He should have been like,
well, he could have at least done a few fouls on his way out.
Yeah. Like, come on now.
But yeah, no, I mean, at that point it's tough. But I thought the strategy was good. It was definitely working. And I mean, he was disastrous, and he looked like he was on his own head. And then they weren't able to basically run their offense. They couldn't get in any flow. They couldn't get out and run. So I'm down with the strategy. Just I mean, again, I guess I don't really think that's the reason we lost. No,
of course not,
or anything like that. But I mean, I still think it was good strategy. Even I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think we sort of beat a lot of the reasons why we lost out. I mean, I don't know if there's kind of more necessarily to it. It just, to me, it's like, even despite all this, and like, I still feel really good about the series. Like I said, maybe like we just like the happiest person in the world is probably Missoula right now. Yes, because like this is where it's like all 12 people on ESPN like pick the Celtics. Like they're like minus 800 to win the series. The Knicks obviously are hearing that. There's a whole lot of like noise around it. So Celtics are obviously hearing it too. So I mean, maybe it is good to just go out and kind of get our butts kicked. But like, I also think it's not good to give the Knicks like hope too. Right. Going into it, I said that my biggest fear is my lack of fear. So I still don't really feel scared of this team, but it's fucking bullshit, man. Like this is so brutal. But I can see us winning the next 4 games too. I don't fucking know. What do I?
Well, yeah, and I mean
I'm
that's
just a Celtics podcast.
No, I mean if there is a positive spin, I think it's that what you saw in the first half. I came away from that half thinking like this is just such a mismatch. There's nothing the Knicks could do. And there really wasn't. It was the Celtics doing it to themselves. So again, hopefully this is the wake-up call they needed. Like you said, Maz is in there showing them all the film, showing them everywhere that it went wrong, and explaining.
Not a burn the tape. Yeah, this isn't a burn the tape game.
No, you gotta watch.
This is like that meme with the guy holding the lady's eyes open. Like you're gonna watch every fucking second of this tape. Not a burn the tape.
I think the answers are all there if you watch. I think they'll be able to watch it and very easily say, like, look what we did wrong. And if we don't do that, it really just doesn't seem like there's any chance they can hang with us for 48 minutes.
Do you think the Knicks had the TNT broadcast on in the locker room? Because Barkley was frying them at the halftime.
I can't rule it out.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about Porzingis. Hauser rolled his ankle too. It's kind of a tough foul call for him anyway. But It didn't look great. He got listed as questionable, which was a little bit promising that he was questionable. Obviously, he didn't come back. What he was? Why do you think he didn't play at all in the first half either? And then he
Yeah.
came in. What do you think that was
So,
about?
well, I was gonna say, really in general, whole tough night for Sam. So, I mean, in the first half, yeah, he was just out of the rotation. Which, if you think about it, like he's the ninth guy. They went with Cornette, and the double big is they went with Pritchard, Al, and Cornette. And I mean, you don't really need to play more than 8 guys in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, kind of just the odd man out based on matchups and stuff. And then obviously Porzingis is out. We need him. So he comes in for the first time in the second half, which is obviously tough. Immediately, Tatum drives, gets him a wide open corner 3, airballs it badly. Came down the next trip, got another great look 2 seconds later, missed that, and then commits a pretty brutal foul on a 3 on OG, hurts himself in the process. So really rough stretch for Sam, and then the injury, kind of insult to injury situation. Hate to see it. Again, I think that's just a matchup thing where it's like you're not going to play 9 guys and he's the odd man out. I think it's more matchup based, and we've kind of talked about this where we've questioned, like, given the matchup, will it be a Luke series? Will it be a Pritchard series? Will it be whatever? And tonight, again, I think everything's static, but it looked like in this one, Joe wanted to stay with the double big, play Cornette, Allen, KP, and then roll with Pritchard as the other guy from there. So, it is what it is. But then I think it's tough for Sam to come in like that, where he, at that point, I mean, say what you will about obviously stay ready is the job, but like in your head, the way the first half goes, it's pretty clear. Like he probably even was told by Missoula, like, hey, you're not going to be in the rotation. I think mentally, like, then it's tough to suddenly be like, shit, now you're in.
Yeah.
Again, he's a pro. His whole job is to be ready.
So he's in because Porzingis was out, obviously. So,
well, I mean, seemingly he didn't play in the first half, and then
so they just saw too. He's got the Roethlisberger. He's got the boot on.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Not a great sign.
I mean, again, the guys we missed were tough, and it's obviously tougher to lose guys in the game when you're kind of not prepared for that to happen. But I don't think any of that is really the reason we lost. Those were tough minutes, is because that was like a 9-0 run with Sam between those threes that cut it down to like 6 points. So it was just brutal timing. But again, I don't really blame Sam, and then I don't think like his absence then became an excuse either. So just kind of an unfortunate sequence for him. Hope he's okay. I mean, I hope all our guys are obviously okay, but gotta go back to the drawing board in some ways there.
Yeah. All right. What else on this game? This is just, are you like, where do you, no, I mean, you picked Celtics in 5, or so. Still feeling good about that pick?
I mean, like you said, I did say they'd lose one at home. I said it would be game 2, but I honestly still, like, in a weird way, this almost like reinforced all of my thoughts. Like, despite them winning, nothing changed about how I feel about this matchup, how I feel about this series, how I feel about these games. Even tonight, it was like totally the Celtics were their own undoing with the way they played. And I still, again, it gets down to the end of the game, and it almost felt like all of these things that are working out for the Knicks is like they almost have to win this game because of all this stupid ass shit we're doing, where it's like I can't imagine the Celtics are going to do that again. I hope.
And despite all that, they still ended up with a chance to win the game.
Exactly.
Or at least force the second overtime.
Yeah, and again, like a zillion of those step back threes, Tatum just finally hits that one, and suddenly it's like, wow, Celtics played like absolute dog shit, still won game 1. There really is nothing the Knicks can do. So again, I think the positives are there. It's extremely frustrating, but hopefully it's channeled in the right way as kind of motivation, showing, hey, like if you let your guard down, if you don't play the right way, like this is what can happen. So next game, go out there with the right mindset for 48 minutes, and getting a 20-point lead isn't enough to stop. I don't know if they thought the Knicks were going to quit or the game was over. I obviously not.
No,
like, literally.
I mean, dude, I want to beat the Knicks by 1 billion. Don't get comfortable with 20 at all, dude.
Exactly. And again, I mean, that's not it, because part of it, at first, it starts as like we missed a few good looks, and it's like, okay, whatever. Then suddenly it's back down to 12. It's like, no big deal. There's going to be ebbs and flows to the game. I still like the way we were generating shots. And then it was like, once it got under 10, I feel like is when we really got tight. And from there, it was just dribbling, trying to pick at spots, and settling for just so many off the dribble threes. And again, the guys who are taking them, it's mostly, I mean, White and Tatum, what they combined for 31 threes. Brown attempted another 10 between those 3 guys alone. I think they shot 40 something threes, 40 something 3-point attempts between 3 guys. and I think almost all of them were off the dribble, which is just like I said, they're good
Yeah.
enough that they can make them, but
I don't
we can
mind.
get such better shots.
Yeah, T.Y. is kind of an off. He does a lot of catch and shoot outs, but I think he's all right off the field. Something about those other guys. But Tatum was 4 for 15. Brown was 1 for 10. White was 5 for 16.
I mean, that's
Drew
insane.
was 2 for 7. That's normal. That's fine.
Yeah, the 7
Those other guys
comparison is like nothing. That's just, I mean, again, if that's what they're giving us and it's wide open, like because they're just not guarding you, sure,
Yeah.
shoot. You know, if it's Grant Williams situation, yeah, every time you're open, fire it. But that is not what happened at all. And again, those are the kind of looks we were having to settle for against Orlando last series. This
Maybe
series,
that's what it is. Maybe we're used to that.
this series, we should not be having to settle for that. But we weren't in the first half. That's why it's frustrating. Because it was like we saw exactly the recipe. And again, we could have kept playing that way. We scored 61 points in the first half, shooting 5 of 25 on threes. So it's like, we're not shooting well, but we're still playing well. We keep this up, we would have scored 125 points. It wouldn't have been a game. We stopped. And like I said, it was almost like we got into a battle of ourselves, of like proving to ourselves, like, we can make these shots. We're going to keep doing it until we do.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but it was just so frustrating and infuriating to watch when, again, there's 2-3 guys out there that we can hunt like seals, drive and get good looks, whether it's for you or another guy. Every single trip, we were doing it in the first half. It was nonstop seal hunting, and it was just like we got bored of it. We honestly got bored of it. It was going too well. I think we just wanted to hit cool daggers and like almost embarrass them, and just lost our discipline.
Which I totally understand.
Yeah, to a certain point, but you got to stop. Exactly.
Yeah, you have to know when to pull out of that tailspin.
And it was like tin cup. It was like they refused to stop. It's like, I'm just gonna go down with the ship, and that's exactly what happened. So gotta change that.
At what point in the game did you come up with that tin cup reference? That would have been I should have been
just now. Honestly, while we were doing it, because that's
right out the rip.
Yeah,
so true. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep trying to do it. That's what it felt like. That's a great clip. I'm gonna clip that.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll write that down for later. All right, I had a couple. I don't know. I had a couple just other kind of ancillary sort of things. I don't know if you had anything particular on what we were doing or what the Knicks were doing before we get into just some last minute stuff. Give out our Chuddy Chains for the night. I honestly have half a mind to cancel the Chuddy Chains tonight, to be honest, based on how it or yes, but go ahead. What do you got? Anything else?
No, I mean, nothing specific. I just thought it was weird in the first half. Really like ticky-tack stuff. I mean, especially from what we just saw with us against Orlando and Knicks Detroit. Those were 2 fucking football games, and now this first half of this game was like a different sport suddenly. So that's just a weird adjustment almost. Like, this is how you're gonna start calling it now? Like, holy crap, this is a different series.
It was like 18 fouls in the first 16 minutes of the game.
It was wild, but it felt almost like refreshing, whereas like the Celtics can just get back to playing offense until obviously they stopped doing that, which is frustrating. I had a bunch of notes about Porzingis, but in the wake of obviously him leaving and stuff, I feel like it's not really worth talking about until we know anything about it. But obviously, if that's the best he can play, like, don't even play him. Basically, just play Luke. I also thought it was funny when Luke committed that foul. I forget if it was I think it was Harlan or Reggie. One of them is like, that's another one on Cornet, but his fouls are expendable. I was like, whoa.
There was so much mushing going around, man. Oh my god.
But also, I feel like that's not even given the injury, just in general, like, that's just not knowing what Luke's not being familiar with Luke's game at this point. Like, that's not expendable fouls. Like, Luke is the real deal. It's not some goon 100%. We're putting in to just do these
this could be a good, because I have a couple of things that I want to rip on them, the announcers for. Reggie Miller, when the Celtics are
he's brutal,
collapsing, blowing a lead, and missing so many threes, you do not need to say every time they miss a 3. You just kept saying how many they've missed tonight. It's like, oh, one more than last time you said it. Thanks, dude. Thanks for the update. Like, it was wow, that's 38 missed threes, 39 missed threes, 40. It's like, yeah, dude. Everyone knows how fucking math works. Thanks, brother. Like, he sucks. He's brutal. Even Harlan too was kind of getting on my nerves. I'm a Harlan guy, but I don't know. He's kind of getting on my nerves a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he's a New York guy somewhere, but
I think it's also when it's your team in that situation and it's not your local announcer. It's like, I think anyone could have been talking, and I would have just like they're just literally just reporting what was happening. Shut up.
No. The way that Reggie Miller was doing it, saying everything afterwards, uncalled for. Harlan also did just have an absolute brutal shot for Campaign. Like, when he came in, like Campaign, who's played for 10 teams. It's like, damn, dude. he blowing up his spot like that? I don't know. It's just
That's fun
like you
stat.
said about a guy, it makes him sound like he's kind of just like I
Yeah.
don't know. But it felt like a ricochet, but maybe not. You don't seem to think so. So
I mean, no, I think it's kind of a cool
kind of
stat.
ricochet, 10
Kind of a
teams.
ricochet, but kind of a cool stat. I don't know. Something to be said for hanging around to play for 10 different teams.
Okay, fair,
Longevity.
good point.
There's some longevity there.
That's true. That's true. All right, so maybe he was complimenting him. Like I said, I was just fucking spazzing out mad the whole night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't really thinking clearly for a long time during that game.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's completely understandable.
Dog was freaking out.
Yeah,
Just,
I mean, understandable.
They want to help, but just can't help me right now, dude.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting too how we'll see how this series plays out, but Karl Anthony Towns was like our best player at times. He was just playing right into our hands. I mean, the guy is just driving at nothing, getting blocked, and then falling under the basket. So it's like he's just giving us a free transition the other way.
Yeah,
and he almost had a little the same thing where it's like he was so determined to finish one of those over like Al or D White or whoever. And it's like, dude, this is just like not gonna happen.
Yeah, not the matchup you think it
was. Just being so stubborn about it, and I mean, I almost respect that he kept doing it. But at a certain point, it was like he's just hurting his team, and it seemed like they're almost playing better without him, especially in the first half when we were actually picking on him. Then we again just kind of allowed him to be over there. He made a few shots here and there, but he didn't really do a ton. He didn't play a ton, obviously, because of the fouls. But again, it's just so frustrating to see how much we can abuse him. And again, it's like we just got bored with doing it almost. It was so easy. We're like, all right, let's just like find another way to embarrass them. So
yeah,
interesting to see.
That just always seems like this, just like he's sassing somebody. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that's like I'm not the first one to notice that or come up with that, but it just seems like he's always sassing something. Someone's always getting it. But yeah, he was for. I mean, at some points early in the game before we got the foul trouble, he was playing well. He was making some pretty tough shots, but I think, like you said, some of it's what you live with, and then he was also kind of getting sucked into doing a lot of stuff that's just like, all right. I mean, if that's if that's what he's going for, he can do that. He had that one turnaround on Jalen. That was pretty nice. But
yeah, that was pretty. And obviously, like Cat is a great player and a great shooter for a big man. But like you said, it's just like, all right, if they're gonna beat us with Cat just hitting those turnarounds, it's like you kind of just tip your cap and you're like, so be it.
I would much rather have lost like that than the way we did right now.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens, you kind of move on. It sucks, but whatever. But yeah, just frustrating again. I mean, playing like I really feel like you'll live with even most of the. It really just boils down to the offense bogging down, especially in the last 18, 20 minutes of the game and completely losing the plot. And again, just looked like a team that kind of hadn't been there before and didn't know what they wanted to do. And glad it's just one game. Glad it's happening in game one. And I still feel confident. I feel good about what I saw. I don't think that there's a reason to change anything long-term views about this. I thought, positive note, Drew Holiday, obviously making his return, missed the last 3 games of the hamstring injury.
Looked pretty good.
I thought he really turned it up.
Big rebounds. Derek played some big rebounds.
Some huge plays. Yeah, Derek, it was really just rough shooting, but obviously he came alive. I mean, really everyone, honestly. It's hard to say anything was bad about shooting. I like Tatum had, 16 rebounds. Brown,
that's a funny
Brown
thing.
was super aggressive. He just couldn't. Every shot was short, and I wonder how much of that is he like hurt? Does he not have his lift because it's just the jump shot? I mean, he started 0 of 9. He finally hit that 3 in overtime. They cut it to 3, which was like, that's the one that goes in finally.
And he had one that I don't know how that layup didn't go in. It was like he put it in, like almost like dropped it in the basket and just popped right out.
But like overall, I thought he played well, and I thought when he was driving, he was getting good looks. He got us, a few of those mid ranges, and that's when I think he hit like 2 mid ranges in a row on those mismatches. First, he got like Brunson, took him inside, hit that midi, then got deep on Hart, hit that midi, and then Missoula took him out, and he was pissed, and it looked like they were almost like arguing on the bench. I think he was like, "Dude, I'm getting hot. I just made 2 buckets in a row. Why are you taking me out?" Missoula's barking back. He's like, "You're going back in." He just wanted to get him like a quick rest. Brown came back in, and he was lights out again. He dominated that second quarter. It was great, closing the half. Like we were just playing awesome. And again, it's just like got away from that, and everything was holding the ball, late shot clock, dribble. One of the Jays are White hoisting up a 3. Again, even given all of that, shoot a little better, make a few. If each one of them makes just one more 3, we still this probably never even gets to like a crunch time game. So
Well, that's what I was
crazy
saying too. They
to let
kept
it
on talking
happen,
about
but
Brunson in crunch time. Like, just don't let it get to crunch time.
exactly.
And
And I never
also, they
even.
gotta chill with the. This is the reigning crunch time player of the year. It's
Oh,
like
I
that
know,
award didn't exist years ago. Shut the
I
fuck
know,
up.
I
But,
know.
although
So
he
annoying.
has some big fucking shots, but he had some big turnovers.
Sure.
He missed the biggest shot, but didn't
Right.
matter.
And again,
Um,
like, still, I'll live with the defense on him the whole game. I thought everyone who matched up with
mhm.
him one-on-one did a pretty good job. Even some of those shots he's making was just like tough defense by Al, where it's like those are the kind of shots you'll live with. We talked before the game.
Yeah.
Make him beat you in one-on-one and be a tough shot maker, and it's fine. Don't get those other guys going. It's Anunoby scoring 23 points, McBride making threes. Again, it's the
Yeah.
Josh Hart offensive rebounds will be the fucking death of me. All that little shit, which is just so easy to clean
Yeah, I
up.
was surprised when I looked at the final numbers. I thought that they were absolutely killing us on the rebounding, but it was
We
closer.
were dominating at half.
59-40. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe the second half they kind of closed the game because we finished with 10
Yeah.
more rebounds than them. But it did feel like a few times there where they were getting every offensive rebound, like so many second chances they were making us
Mhm.
pay. Just the shit you can't do. Can't do
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, and we were getting no offensive rebounds in that stretch, which in the first half, I think we had 10 offensive boards, and then it was, we were just settling for one shot, shooting a three, missing. Knicks were coming back. It was like just chipping away, and we just couldn't do anything to stop the momentum. So, just bad to lose a game like that.
Bad.
Obviously, it shouldn't happen. It's just one game, and, like I said, I still doesn't change any long-term thoughts, but it still just should not happen. 51
No.
minutes for Bridges, by the way. It's
That's
just funny.
crazy. That's crazy. And dude,
And
they
he-
don't look tired. So,
No, and he
yeah.
made two huge
little bit
huge
nervous.
plays down the
Nerve-wracking.
stretch. He was great in that overtime.
Okay.
Gotta
You
give
got
it to
anything
him.
else, or should we give us some Chuddy Chains?
Yeah, we could keep venting, I think, on different things here and there, but I think we've kind of hammered home the same
Yeah,
same
it's a little
reason
bit
for this and
therapeutic, I guess.
what
Yeah.
we have to change. I think, that's the good thing is I think we know exactly what has to change, and I think we have a good blueprint laid
Right,
out
we beat
in
ourselves.
the first half. Like, we have
Credit to
enough
us
tape.
for beating ourselves and not
Yeah.
letting another team do it.
Yeah, but I think we know exactly what needs to change, and I expect us to do it.
All right, cool. We'll give out our Chuddy Chains for tonight. I actually do. After I said I almost want to revoke the Chuddy Chain, I do have a couple people in mind, so we'll give them out. But the Chuddy Chains is sponsored by Mario's Roofing Mario's, Siding Mario's, Windows Mario's. You just gotta call Mario's. At Mario's, we pride ourselves on quality, safety, and value. We wouldn't do anything to your home that we wouldn't also do to our own. Call Mario's today and ask about their winter specials. 781-344-2420, or you can visit mariosroofing.com. Mario's Roofing, we won't soak you in order to keep you warm and dry. I forget. You can go first for the Chuddy Chains. I forget who went. I don't know. Go ahead.
Fair enough. I'm gonna give it to Al Horford. I feel like he was just rock solid the whole game. One of the guys who's I was not mad with the way they were playing at any point. I feel like all of his shots were good one. He hit a couple huge ones too, when it seemed like no one else could. That one, I think it was the end of the third quarter, felt like a huge momentum shot. Obviously didn't end up being it, but made some big plays. Great defense in the post. After getting in foul trouble too, I thought he did an excellent job, especially against this team of all teams, of playing like the fact that for Porzingis to go out to have 3 fouls and be able to play that effectively on defense without fouling was awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was, not only, it was still doing a great job protecting the rim, great job defending Brunson, where again, like you said, if you contest without fouling and he hits a shot in your face, that's certainly not anything Al's doing wrong. I thought he was awesome on that. Super disciplined. I don't know if he had a single foul in the second half. And again, a lot of that guarding, either being on Towns or Brunson. So, great job.
Trying to get the switch on him like every single time, and he was holding his own.
100%, which again, that's the beauty of Al Horford. So I thought he was just great, and he could play better, but this loss isn't certainly not on him. He did what I expect out of Al Horford, so I feel fine giving him a Chuddy Chain.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna give my Chuddy Chain to Derek White. He had 2 blocks. One of those was pretty early. One of those, I mean, talk about not watching the tape. Mikal Bridges just trying to go up with him, right? It's like you don't know that's gonna happen.
Even Cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he had a sweep block on Cat too. Yeah. So you don't know that's what happens. He also had 11 rebounds. He had 1 offensive rebound. It was a fucking massive one.
Oh.
So just for that, again, we could talk about his shooting. It wasn't great, 5 for 16. We mentioned it, but I do think that he was out there. He was being a hustle guy. You can put definitely some of this at his doorstep. He's not as clean as Al, but
Sure.
as far as performance wise tonight. But I'll give my Chuddy Chain out to Derek White. I think he earned
Just
one
that
today.
defensive rebound he had too, with 28 seconds left when he.
I think that's what I was actually. Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
That was
I
like
think
the
that's
biggest
what I was
rebound of the
thinking
game.
for some reason,
Obviously, all we drew up was another brutal Tatum off dribble three for the game winner that was not.
Sick play.
But
Such
that was
a
also
sick
a hilarious play because when White got that rebound, Missoula almost tackled the ref to get that.
Yeah, he had to take the ref down to get that call, dude. That was awesome.
Dave forced his hand with not seeing his
call.
call.
Yeah. Well, it's like a legitimate problem. The refs don't hear the call, the calling. So I don't blame him at all for that.
Yep. It was another kind of funny moment too when he intentionally was fouling Mitch and they didn't see it, and the whole team was pointing to him. They're fouling him like the whole way down the court, and then Brunson hit a layup, and then it was a debate when the foul was, and you watch the tape, and it was like literally everyone on the team stopped. It was just pointing at the foul for like 8 seconds. It was like almost a super before Brunson even had like started dribbling.
Yeah,
so, that was another kind of funny moment where I thought Joe was going to absolutely lose his mind on an official.
Yeah. Oh man, that was unfortunate.
Very
upsetting.
Really.
Yeah, but there's a touch of silver lining in this touch of gray with these Chuddy Chains. So, all right, we got some other matchups to break down. We got a few game sevens to talk about. I know we're gonna kind of get into the series that goes a little bit in the past, but let's do around the NBA before that. Why don't you go ahead and pay our bills to our other lovely sponsor?
Yeah, Chuddy's Corner is brought to you by Nick Perrano Real Estate. For any and all of your real estate needs, you're going to want to go to nickperrano.com at nickperrano.com. Nick, I hate to say it, but the poor guy was at the game tonight, was texting me. I believe the last text he sent just read, "I am unwell." So I actually hope that Nick is okay.
I forgot he was at this one. Yeah.
Not a
we may not have a sponsor anymore.
Game to be at, I gotta say. But
I was wondering why he had a little bit more. He was a little more piss and vinegar in the group chat tonight. So it must have been seeing that live.
He was in there.
Take even the nicest guy like Nick, and that's just
exactly. Might have to do a wellness check, but again, I think that's why Nick's the kind of guy you want to work with. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's very passionate about the Celtics, about Chuddy's Corner. He's even more passionate about real estate. That's the kind of guy you want in your corner. He's someone you can trust. He will certainly go the extra mile for you. Whatever you need in the realm of real estate, reach out to Nick, get in touch with him, go to his website, give him a call, give him an email, whatever. Anything you might think it's just a dumb question, don't want to waste his time, believe me, give him a call. He will talk to you. He'll answer all your questions, put you at ease. That's what you want. We love Nick. We hope he's okay right now. We will definitely be able to do that wellness check on the poor guy. But for all of those reasons and more is why he is the official realtor of Chuddy's Corner.
All right. And out of respect to our sponsor, I won't put any blame on him to the Garden crowd being a candy-ass Garden crowd tonight. That was bad. Way too many Knicks fans in there. You could hear
he did also text me at one point that there were a lot of Knicks fans.
You can see him kind of like in the bottom, like right of your TV screen. There's a whole little like horde of them there. Like I don't know where they came from, but probably New York. I guess I kind of do probably know where they came from.
Yeah.
Candy-ass crowd. I also meant to say too, though, A+ jerseys tonight. Which can be a great segue into our first game 7 if you want. The awful jersey lineup in around the NBA. So what do you want to do? Do you want to? Maybe we can kind of go into some of those game 7s. I think we can talk a little bit about each one of those, and then maybe talk about some of the other matchups. I think that might be a little bit more interesting at this point. The 2 game 7s. So the Nuggets beat the Clippers. Clippers just don't have game 7 guys. Harden just
they have
one game 7 guy.
Game 7.
He had kind of quiet night though, didn't he?
Well, no, he didn't have a good game, but I wouldn't say it's because he's not
like
game
7. Right. It's not his thing. Harden, it's like he's done like 4 different teams. Like game 7 with 4 different teams is crazy.
Brutal night. Clippers
night for them.
They looked like they kind of ran out of gas. Honestly, they almost blew that game 6. Harden played 47 minutes in game 6. Had a great game 6. Got to give him credit for even getting them to game 7, but he just had nothing left. It was like he didn't want to shoot the ball. Even Kawhi played okay, had some moments, but just not enough. And that team, give credit to the Nuggets. In Ball Arena, that short turnaround game 7. You mentioned 2 older teams. It really did seem like they just ran out of gas. And they kind of pissed away 2 games early in the series, and you wondered if that would come back to haunt them, and sure enough, it did. I'm sure they're kicking themselves right now, feeling like they easily could have won 5 or 6 of those games. Probably should have. But I mean, the margins are so slim in a series like that. We talked about how close it was, and it just kind of came down to like the Nuggets. You know, the guys you trust are the ones who came through. But also, kind of weird, not for nothing. In that Game 7, Jokic did not have a great game. Zubats did a great job on him. Even Murray didn't go off. It was everyone else. Aaron Gordon, who had maybe the player of the series, obviously had that alley-oop dunk, but it was so much more than that. He was amazing on defense. He did a great job on Kawhi Leonard all series long. Really, Kawhi went off that one game, and he played well, but Gordon did a great job on him on both ends. That was kind of a matchup the Clippers had no answers for. Christian Brown, too, maybe the best game, one of the best playoff games of his career. I think he had 21 points in that deciding game and was all over the place defending Harden. Really good. And then Westbrook, man. Got to give Westbrook his props. Total revenge series.
I loved his quote after that game.
Yeah.
Played about himself. I've never seen him be so
self-awareness is incredible.
He's usually never like that. Like, I've never seen, it's like a new, but if he missed the quote, he's basically like, yeah, sometimes I go out there, I'll miss a really bad 3, but sometimes I'll make them. Like, sometimes I'll do a really bad this, but sometimes I'll make a really good play.
Right.
I've never seen him like admit that like he acts erratically sometimes.
Yeah. No, he's basically just like, I'm all energy. I'm going 100 no matter what. And like, for better or worse, that's just the Westbrook experience.
That's
like,
me.
You all know it's true, but it's like,
Didn't he call it the Westbrook experience?
He might have. Yeah, I think he did. And he's said a few things. I think at one point he called himself like an agent of chaos. And at one point he's like, what's your job when you get out there? He's like, fuck shit up.
Yeah. That dunk he had.
That was
the technical,
what a moment for him, too. Yeah. Obviously, the Clippers dumping him at last season.
Yep.
Dumping him to the Jazz, deciding they didn't want him anymore. And so, yeah, good for him. And kind of cool that now he gets another.
On to his next series.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, might as well now transition that right into the preview of the next series for them, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we can do it. So as we're recording now, Game 1 is going on, right, in that series.
Yeah,
they're down 10 at the half. So Nuggets are down 10 at the half to OKC.
Yep.
I guess. What do you make of this? I think the Nuggets can absolutely do it. I think we talked about it where it's like this is a team where I could see them beating any team really, but can they string together a whole bunch of them? Yeah, I think it's a good test, good matchup for OKC. If Jamal Murray's going to play like he did in some of those games in that series, then the Nuggets going to be very hard out. I think if those other guys too that you mentioned, that makes things very interesting too. If it doesn't have to be all Jokic all the time.
Right.
OKC could be in trouble because there's a lot of people to defend on that team. But it's hard to pick against them. I think they're like a plus 500, the Nuggets. I did love that value, but I don't know. What's your take on the series?
Yeah, I mean, a lot obviously working in favor of OKC. They've got the deeper team. They've got, they check pretty much every box, but at the end of the day, like you said, it's like, but the Nuggets have that championship pedigree. They've got Jokic. They've got, for all the good things about OKC, they're a juggernaut, but they don't have those playoff scars. At the end of the day, they're a young team, and it's like, do you really trust them to do it? Whereas the Nuggets, we've seen them do it, and there is something to be said for that. And again, they played 4 times this year. They split 2-2. I certainly don't think the Nuggets are like scared or intimidated by this matchup. And also, obviously the OKC is a way better team than the Clippers, but Zubats might be the best in the league at guarding Jokic. So, like, Chet has nothing for Jokic. Hartenstein has nothing for Jokic. I mean, those guys are good, but, like, for Jokic, it'll be an easier series, I think, as good as the OKC defense is.
The OKC defense is really good, but I think with him, it's like they really have just a guy that's just like,
which no one
be
really
our Jokic stopper. No, but some people
Zubats was great at it. Yeah, Zubats really made it work.
And this is a totally like off, not even ball related. This is like a causation correlate. Like I know the causation and correlation is not related here necessarily, but the Thunder have that like commercial now. There's a Capital One commercial all in the same outfit, and I just feel like historically I can't ever think of a time that I've seen a team do a commercial like that and then not at one point later on in the playoffs be like, wow, it's got to be so embarrassing for them that the commercial's still going in there eliminated. Like, it feels like that team always gets like bounced. I've never seen it like, wow, the team that just won the championships in this Capital One commercial. Like, it's never played out like that. So, again, that's not like there's not necessarily science behind that, but it's definitely like a vibes thing. I saw that commercial. I go, this might be the first like crack in the foundation of what OKC was going to do. Like, I look at them slightly differently now. Not saying that they're gonna lose, not saying that I don't fear them, but like it's hard. Like they were here, they're here now. Like it's a little notch down just off that. So
Yeah.
that's my take on the series. I think the Nuggets
No,
can
I
beat
think
them.
that's
They did a commercial.
great take.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I think again, like we've talked about the Nuggets, the Nuggets margins are slimmer. Like they can't really,
right.
they need they don't have a lot of guys. They need all of their guys to play well. And with OKC, the Nuggets in the regular season, when they had success, they played zone. They basically had two guys meet SGA at half court, trap him, force him to get the ball out of his hands, and basically be like, "Can your other guys hit their shots against us?" Which maybe a lot of times they do.
Maybe they can, maybe
But
they can't. Yeah,
well, yeah, but it's kind of like we'll find out because the
right.
Nuggets do not have anyone who can guard SGA. That's the thing. They don't have anyone who's really honestly Westbrook's probably their best matchup on him, which is hilarious and not ideal. But they have no answers there. So playing a zone and just getting a big back line when you can have Jokic, Gordon, and MPJ, at least that's a lot of size. And I think that's not the end of the world of a strategy of being like SGA is not going to beat us, and we're going to get the rebounds. And hey, if you don't have a great shooting night, like that might be enough. And then for the Nuggets, I mean, they scored 140 in a game against OKC. So for all the talk about how amazing OKC's defense is, when the
Yeah,
Nuggets are on, I don't think it
they
matters.
might have cracked. Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying.
so
All those guys do go. It's not.
right,
That was the whole concern. They didn't all go
exactly.
this year, but
Yeah,
we saw some of the last series.
it
So.
can happen. And again, does OKC get a little tight? This would probably be the best team they've beaten in a playoff series. Certainly the best player. And also another interesting wrinkle. I forget which day exactly, but the MVP award will be announced during this series and
Oh, that's
presented
gonna be
to
interesting.
one of the two guys who's playing in it.
Yeah.
Which again, we've seen some other situations of what was it? Was it Hakeem or the Hakeem Robinson one where they gave it to Robinson and Hakeem just came out and embarrassed? I know, bro. I'm asking myself.
You just said I've seen that. Yeah, don't remember it if I did.
It was either Robinson and Hakeem or Hakeem and Malone, and the other guy got it, and Hakeem went out and just embarrassed them head to head as it was happening. So that will be fun to watch too. So again, I think everyone's picking the Thunder. They've got all the advantages, but do not sleep on the Nuggets. And again, the Nuggets
What's your pick?
probably go on to lose this game one just because of they're the ones coming up exhausted after the Clippers. Yeah, kind of just a tough spot for them. But I think they can rally back. I think they can get one of these games in OKC.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
go on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's tough.
This is crazy, but I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go with Thunder in 7. I think they push them to 7. I really do.
I'm gonna go Nuggets in 7.
I love it. I almost did too. I mean, I think this is way.
Although I'm looking at this matchup, they play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
That part's tough.
Tough.
And I think the weekend matchup too. They go from a 10:30 at night game, one day off, and then it's a 3:30 game. I'm pretty sure. It's kind of crazy.
10 p.m. to
the lack of rest is crazy. Obviously, the Thunder are the way deeper team, but some of these Jokic's just like a machine. He doesn't get more tired sometimes. It seems like.
Yeah, it's also very true.
It'll be interesting. Steal one of these two in OKC, and we'll see if they get a little tight. They haven't had a ton of adversity this season. As counting the playoffs, they're now 72-14.
Yeah, something like that. All right,
we'll see.
Our other series, we just stick to the West. This series has not started yet. Starts tomorrow, 9:30. We have Golden State versus the Timberwolves. Love this matchup. I really do like this. It's definitely a little old guard, new guard type thing to it. Obviously, the Timberwolves looked really good in that first round, knocking out the Lakers. Anthony Edwards had everything going. Like you said, he was making the right play. He wasn't just being flat, doing his own kind of flashy scoring thing. He was making the right play. They're playing defense. All the other role guys are playing really well too. They have a ton of size. I think that could be an issue. We saw how the double big lineup was a little bit of an issue for the Warriors. Once they did that, they kind of figured it out in Game 7. So real quick, if you want to do a real quick post-mortem on your Rockets, I know you love them, but I do think we gotta look forward to the future here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, give you a little take on the Rockets. That Game 7, that sucked.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have worn the city uniforms. They deserve to lose.
Yeah, rough jersey matchup. It's always tough. Down 3-1. It seemed like they had solved them, but you knew Game 7's kind of throw all that out the window. And obviously then the Warriors, we talked about, have the guys you trust. I thought for how well they were defending Steph, he was amazing. the Rockets, they almost had this one back, honestly, before Amen Thompson hurt himself. It seemed like they had kind of flipped the script a little bit. He hurt his calf. Steph realized that they had to get him out, and that kind of flipped the game. They were able to pull away again, but credit Buddy Hield. 22 points in the first half,
Yeah.
9 of 11 on threes. The Rockets zone that's been basically the Warriors have had no answers for. It was Hield who went in there. It was kind of the Buddy Hield game. He was incredible. And yeah, I mean, the Rockets, it's the same old story. That offense, Jalen Green had one good game this entire series. Their leading scorer, total no-show. Can't be relied on in this situation. Just tough to watch. Sengun, really good player, but he just has nothing for Draymond, and you could see it. Like those shots, you just, even in real time, it just doesn't feel like they're getting good looks. Van Vliet, tried his damnedest, but at a certain point, it's like, when that's all you got. It was Thompson driving. So, kind of same story, just not enough on offense. And in a game like that, you kind of needed someone to step up, and it was Buddy Hield who stepped up for the Warriors, and then Steph took it home at the end. So tough to see, but I think still, like, Rockets got to feel good, really good about their season and where they're at overall. Obviously wish they won, but
sucks for Rockets fans. The Warriors are just outlasted their whole rebuild. But anyway, Rockets are gone.
Might be a blessing in disguise, though, because if they had won, then maybe they convince themselves, like, oh, Jalen Green is the guy. We don't need to change. So maybe, like, long term, as much as it sucks right now,
Jalen Green.
They didn't trick themselves.
All right, what do you think of the series that's now existing because of that?
I mean, this matchup has it all. Obviously, these teams, you've got Ant, who now in the last 2 years, he took out KD. Now he's taking out LeBron and Luka. Now he gets to try to take out Steph. Like, great, like, character arc for Ant. That's fun. Then you've got, obviously, Jimmy going back up against Minnesota. Like, so much great stuff to work with there. And then, of course, you've got Draymond and Rudy, which is just like, I feel like this is almost like a recovering alcoholic who's now forced to go to, like, wine tasting with, like, putting Draymond back against Rudy. It's just like, come on, man. Like, he's not going to be able to help himself. He's done a good job recently, like, for his standards. It's like,
this is
going to bring the worst out in him really fast. So I'm excited to see it. And, I mean, matchup-wise,
so well.
He's come so far. Everyone was real concerned about him for a while there, but he's been clean for almost a year now.
Hasn't stomped the European, and
I can see him falling off the wagon this series big time. Concerned there. But again, matchup wise, like, a lot of the things that the Rockets did that gave Golden State problems, the Timberwolves can kind of do too. Obviously, they've got that really big lineups that we just saw them abuse the Lakers with. The Warriors are kind of similar. Like, they don't want to play a center. They want to play Draymond, Jimmy, and that's it. We saw, obviously, the Rockets said, we're not going to let that happen. Forced Steve Kerr to play guys like Looney, Quentin Post, Trace Jackson-Davis, even, who he did not want to play. I think that's going to be the same situation against Minnesota. They can bludgeon them with size, except they actually have good offensive players who can punish them too. So I think the matchup favors Minnesota, but again, here it's just like, I'm not going to trust it until I see it. Can Ant continue to play this well? Can those Warriors guys continue? Those Timberwolves guys continue to keep going at those matchups. But the more I look at it up and down, is just like, in terms of who's going to guard who, the Timberwolves just have deeper and better players, and it's kind of the same thing with the Lakers. At a certain point, these guys on the Warriors, like, have to guard someone. So it's like, Buddy Hield, who are you guarding? They don't have guys you can hide on. The Rockets have a lot of guys you can kind of hide on and ignore their offense. The Timberwolves, as we just saw, don't. They play 8 guys. They're all really good, and it's like, you got to live with something. Yeah, you're either going to live with Naz Reid, McDaniels, DiVincenzo killing you with threes. You're going to live with Rudy Gobert, offensive rebound and dunking you to death over and over again. So I like the Wolves in this one. I think the matchup favors them. Obviously not going to go against, the Warriors' pedigree, experience, all that. I think they, it'll be a really good matchup. I'm excited for it. I think there's real hate.
You felt like you were building up to a pick there.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pick it, and I'll go with Timberwolves in 6.
That's what I was going to pick. All right.
Sorry.
The way you were building that up made it sound like you were going to do Wolves in 7. I was going to say, you're saying both series?
Nah. No, I think again, as long as the Wolves kind of don't get in their own way, I think they figured something out, and I think the matchups in ways are kind of similar, where the Warriors want to play really small, and I just think Minnesota just learned we don't have to let teams play small. We can make you play big.
All right. The other Eastern Conference matchup was already set. Pacers-Cavs. They tipped off yesterday. Pacers got a 121-104 112 win over the Cavs in Cleveland. I think the Cavs, but they only lose like 7 times that building all season. So immediately giving up home court advantage in this series. Worth noting, the Pacers shot 53% from 3-point. The Cavs shot 23%. So hard to think that that's going to be necessarily how things are going to keep playing out. Do you look at this game and think that the Pacers have like found something? Because I think we both agree the Pacers are going to be a tough challenge for the Cavs anyway. But the more I think about this game, I'm kind of like, they didn't really beat them by a whole lot. And when you look at the actual like box score and stuff, you're kind of like, maybe they should have. I saw the second half of this game, so it's not like I just looked at the box score, but it feels to me like maybe the Cavs, maybe this is what they needed too, I guess. Maybe if I'm the Pacers, I think maybe winning game 2 is the better play. Yeah.
No, I mean, I picked the Pacers to start, and I think I think this is a real even series. I don't think enough people have been giving them enough credit, and I think, like we talked about, you saw it. They don't have guys to stop the Pacers offense. Halliburton and dude, Nembhard, that guy in the fucking playoffs is so amazing.
Crazy.
I swear he's not this good in the regular season. I think there was some stat about he
I don't believe you.
make like that's fair. But no, he's like the definition of a playoff riser. He's unreal. And again, the Cavs defenders, they just don't have it. And in this series, that's going to be a problem because the driving lanes are there and you saw Halliburton just shredding them to pieces. It's nonstop to play that fast and keep attacking you and never turn the ball over is just unreal. And I think a lot of the reason that people have said he's like overrated, whatever, this nonsense, is because it's just kind of hard to like look at it and it doesn't look cool in the stats. He's not scoring like 40 points a game. But when you just watch them play, it's like he's just unstoppable and he makes the whole thing go. And you saw he went to the bench and that was when they started giving the lead away. But I just don't know how the Cavs stop that. And again, their biggest issue, if you want to make an excuse, is that they're missing Darius Garland, which I think will definitely help their offense, but he's definitely not helping the defense. He's one more guy that they'll attack who can't really guard, so that's a problem. And then I want to give the Pacers defense.
A toe injury?
Yeah, toe injury.
That's great. In the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's pretty bad. They said he's going to play next game, but he wouldn't if it was the regular season. I think they actually said if it was the regular season, he wouldn't even walk on it for 1 to 2 weeks. But he's going to play.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of those kind of
reports. Also, yeah, LeBron can't go to the Met Gala tonight because of his knee injury.
Yeah. But also the Pacers defense, ton of credit. Did not let the Cavs do any of the stuff that's made them great all year. I think Mitchell took like almost 30 shots, and Ty Jerome took almost 20. So if the Pacers, that's what you want. They didn't let Mobley or Allen really impact the game at all. And then also, now Mobley got an ankle injury. He's questionable or doubtful. I guess he's in serious jeopardy of missing game 2. And DeAndre Hunter, like, dislocated a finger. He might not play either. So I think the Cavs are in big, big trouble.
Well, yeah. Those guys.
Even without those injuries. But like, still, I don't think anything was, like, fluky. Pacers shot really well, but we've seen their offense is really good.
Yeah.
So, like, I think
those guys aren't that changes a lot, but I do think
it's a battle.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a good series. We're excited for it.
Yeah.
Going back and forth on who I would like to face if we can get past the fucking Knicks. We cannot blow our fucking shit up with the Knicks. All right, we already gave our picks on this series, right? I think I did. Yeah, the last episode.
Yep, you said Cavs in 6. I said Pacers in 7.
Perfect. I was gonna stick with that anyway. Well, actually, no, Cavs in 7. Cavs in 7. Got it. Clip it. All right, you got anything else? Should we call this one an episode?
No, I mean, I just hope that this is kind of like the rock bottom moment of the whole playoffs, ideally. I mean, it's hard to imagine it could be much worse, but yeah, ugly night. Hopefully just a learning experience for Joe and the boys, and see much better effort next time out.
This is not a burn the tape game. This is eyes peeled, you're watching. All right. Well, anyway, thanks everyone for listening to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on Twitter, this is our first ever live streamed episode. We got the tech stuff figured out, so thanks for joining us there. Follow us at Chuddy's Corner. Follow him. He's at King Chuddy. Follow me. I'm at Doug_outs. Do not panic. Season 5. Everything will be all right. I was furious earlier. I still am mad about that, but Celtics in 5. Take care.
Peace out, Chuddy Heads.